is the weekend Saturday, 8/7/21. We're going to do a bonus video free here for you on BTC. We're going to do Bitcoin, and we're going to do it on Bitcoin futures, and then we'll move over for the Patreon. We'll go even further and deep dive into coin. C-O-I-N, that's Coinbase. So stick around and let's get into it. All right. BTC on the monthly, we're going to go through multiple time frames on here, end it, traditional and Elliott wave technical analysis, and then we'll go over for the Patreon members coin. All right, BTC on the monthly, we have what we think is a wave 1, 2, 3, and I think we're finishing wave 4, and I'll tell you why. We are on a bullish bias. After this, we really haven't covered this throughout this consolidation mode. We noticed that it's consolidating because we had a lot of volume, and then through this area right now, the volume just dropped off. We're in the beginning of this month, so we don't expect to see anything from this yet. But just looking at the indicators, we're well into bullish territory. We have not crossed down to, did a bear cross down through that blue line. The lead yellow line has not crossed the MACD blue line here. And on the RSI, we came into overbought territory, pulled back right into the 50 area. And what typically happens when you have a third wave peak like that, you didn't see any divergence at that point. We come back down for a wave 4, and then we make a move up, but we don't make new highs on the indicators, but we make new highs on price action, and that will create our divergence. And that's when we're looking for a real pullback at that point. So that's kind of the storyline that we're basing off of this larger frame picture. If you're looking at the moving averages, if you're moving average type person and trend lines, we have the 8 at EMA on the monthly that we pushed back above, and that gives us a bullish bias right there in itself. Now we have to hold over it. This is a monthly candle, but looking good so far. Also, this trend line starting from the bottom of wave 2, we will actually make that a channel from the wave 1 to down to the wave 2 eventually, for the bottom of wave 4, that sort of thing. We'll get into that later. Now that trend line held. You saw this doji candle came back, tried to break down through it, but pushed right back above. So we have definitely some demand here and holding the trend line. Let's go over to the weekly. All right, on the weekly time frame, same thing. You see the Elliott wave count. We just added a gap in here, and that's a weekly gap. It's big enough there. If you're new to trading, these gaps act as resistance and support. So we love to put them in. This is a large one. We're on the weekly time frame, so we usually don't have gaps on this time frame, but this is big enough to put there. So we have our wave 3 down to wave 4, and I think we're starting on wave 5 here. Now, if you notice the MACD on the weekly, we came right down to the 0 line, which usually acts as some sort of support, which we are here. We did not cross over yet, so we are not out of the woods. I'll tell you that right now. We are just on a bullish bias. We are not completely all out bullish yet. We had our divergence in the RSI, came back to the 50 to, I guess, a 40 area and bounced off there. That's very typical in a bull market. Also, one last thing that is holding us up on this weekly time frame is that 20 week moving average. We have to get through that to be bullish on the weekly time frame. So this is not a good time to put, I repeat, not a good time to put on a bullish play. You don't want to play right into resistance. That 20 MA, we have to get over it first and then start using it as support. Okay, let's go over to the daily time frame. Trend is our friend. Remember that. Stick with the trend, you guys. All right, now we have a lot of gaps you see here from BTC. You know, on the weekend, Bitcoin likes to gap. You could use TradeView, which goes 24 hours, but I definitely like the charts on Thinkorswim much better. And we had our possible ABC expanding diagonal. That would be an A. B, C move for wave 4. We have our 5-wave move down. To complete the wave 4, that's the bullish scenario. There are bearish scenarios, but again, like I said, we are in a bullish bias, so we're going to present the bullish scenario. Okay, so wave 4 would be completed. This would now be a wave 1, 2, and working on wave 3, much higher. So we also have a 1, 2. So in this case, this would be a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. 1, 2, 1, 2, and started pushing above. We have this this trend line that you saw in the larger time frames. We got it back above that. We have this huge on the daily time frame, huge resistance that we had to consolidate and push through. So it's a really, really good sign. Now this downtrend line is key. That's why we're not putting any plays on until we see what happens. Do we react to the downside and lose support again? We'll have to see. Or do we break right through? You have a gap resistance right above us. We have the 100-day moving average as well. So a lot to get through. Once we start breaking through these into the gap, then we could start really getting to this bullish perception. I like to think of if you're looking at the MACD, we had a positive divergence right here. Positive divergence right here, also on the RSI. And, you know, these positive divergences can last for months at a time. So that plays into our bullish scenario. It also could just mean that you're going to get a nice bounce, but we already came into bullish territory on the daily. So we're, again, on the bullish bias. On these moves to the upside, we have great volume. So the volume down here, really, they're good. They're good on this point, but it was great back here. So we have a lot of confidence in what we're saying. I like to compare. You see these 1, 2, 1, 2 setups. Well, you know, the market, it typically doesn't just go straight up. It has to start moving this momentum. The momentum was down, so you had to get buyers in there. That gives you a 1, 2, and you still have some selling pressure. So you get that 1, 2 to the downside, and it pushes harder. 1, but there's still a little bit of pressure. 2, got back over that 200-day moving average. We're over the 8 MA. And now we might do a 1, 2 again just to get over there. Then you really start getting that momentum going and you start just pushing to the upside. You know, with this momentum starting to peak here, we might not even get that next 1, 2 on the daily time frame. It might just be this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a 3 straight up here. The momentum is starting to really, really face to the upside. And you see the histogram, which are these green bars right here. Started to wane a little bit on the pullback and they just push through. So you see it lifting back up. Those could start increasing again as well. The histogram bar, you can look at the MACD video that I have. I'll link that above and check that out. The histograms just show the length between the blue MACD line and the yellow leader line. Okay. All right, let's go down to the 65-minute just to see what's happening. We don't have to get down to the nitty-gritty on this. We want to show the big time frame, but I'll just show you that we're looking at Elliott wave moves, these Elliott moves. So we have wave 1, wave 2, and now it looks like we're going to 1, 2, and working on wave 3. We should see if we can get above that downtrend line and go from there. Okay, so momentum's to the upside, even on the hourly, getting a little bit oversold. But what happens is you start oscillating on the lower time frames because the upper time frames are headed to the upside. So you start oscillating above the 50 line and above the 0 line on these indicators, just indicating that we're in the bullish territory. We take a break for a minute, up again, break up. They oscillate on the side, on the bullish side. All right, so that will do it for the non-members. I hope you like this information. If you are new here, subscribe. Go to the bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. And if you're a member, stick around.